The call came on a Tuesday morning, the kind of morning that still didn't feel real. It had been 12 days since my husband died. 12 days of half-finished cups of tea, unanswered messages, and the quiet hum of a house that no longer knew what to do with itself. People had stopped coming by. The casseroles had stopped arriving. Grief had settled into something less visible but heavier. When my phone rang, I almost didn't answer. "Mrs. Rahman?" The voice on the other end asked, polite and measured. "This is Fareed from the bank. I'm calling regarding a safety deposit box registered under your husband's name. We'll need you to come in to review its contents," I frowned. "There must be some mistake. We don't have a safety deposit box." A pause, paper shifting. "It's solely under his name, ma'am, but as his next of kin, access now transfers to you." Solely under his name. The phrase sat strangely in my chest. "I'll come by this afternoon," I said. The bank smelled faintly of polish and paper, the way all banks seem to. Too clean, too quiet. Farid met me at the front and led me down a narrow hallway into a secure room. His voice was gentle, almost rehearsed. "I'll leave you alone once it's opened," he said. "Take your time." He slid a long, narrow metal box onto the table and unlocked it with a precise click. Then he stepped out, closing the door softly behind him. I stared at the box. For a moment I didn't move. It felt like opening something I wasn't supposed to see, something that had been deliberately kept from me. Then I lifted the lid. Inside, everything was meticulously arranged. Not money, not jewelry, paper. At the top were photographs. I picked one up. A woman stood in front of a small house, sunlight catching in her hair. She was smiling, not at the camera, but at someone behind it. The kind of smile that belongs to a private moment. My hands went cold. Beneath the photos were envelopes, letters folded neatly, receipts from restaurants I didn't recognize. Hotel bookings in cities he'd told me were just work trips, dates, names. A life that had run parallel to mine, careful and hidden, my husband. For a moment, the room seemed to tilt. I sat down slowly. It wasn't one mistake. It wasn't something brief or careless. It was organized, maintained, sustained over time with the same quiet discipline he had brought to everything else in his life. There was a system to it. That hurt more than anything. I kept going. At the very bottom of the box was a folder. It was thicker than the rest, plain, unremarkable. Except for one thing. My name was written on it, in his handwriting. My fingers hesitated before opening it. Inside were documents, property papers, investment accounts. Insurance policies I had never seen before. Statements showing deposits made over years. Steady, intentional, significant. Everything was in my name. Every single asset. There was also a letter. I recognized the paper immediately. The kind he used at his desk. The same careful handwriting. I unfolded it. If you are reading this, it means I am no longer there to explain. I had to stop for a moment. My throat tightened, but I forced myself to keep going. There is no version of this where I am not the man who hurt you. I won't try to explain it away. I made choices, repeated ones, and I lived 2 lives when I should have been brave enough to live one honestly. My grip tightened on the page. But I also knew something else. I knew that one day, those choices might catch up to me, and when they did, I didn't want you to be the one who paid the price for them. I swallowed. Everything in this folder is yours, not because of guilt, although there is plenty of that, but because you built a life with me in good faith. And I broke that faith. This is the only way I know how to leave you with something that isn't damage. My eyes blurred, but I kept reading. You deserved better than the version of me you got. I hope in time you will build something better without me in it. There was no signature. There didn't need to be. I sat there for a long time. The room was silent, except for the faint hum of the air conditioning. In front of me was the full shape of a man I thought I had known for 30 years. Not entirely a stranger, not entirely familiar. Someone who had lied with consistency. And loved, perhaps, with the same. The betrayal was sharp, clean, undeniable. But underneath it, something else settled in. Not forgiveness, not even understanding. Recognition. He had known. Not just that what he was doing was wrong, but that it would eventually break something. And he had prepared for that moment in the only way he knew how. Quietly. Methodically, without asking for permission. It didn't erase anything, but it complicated everything. When I finally left the bank, the afternoon light felt too bright. The world outside had continued as if nothing had changed. Cars passed. People talked. Somewhere, someone laughed. I held the folder close against my side. I didn't know yet what I would do with everything I had learned. I didn't know how to carry both truths at once, that he had deceived me, and that he had, in his own flawed way, tried to protect me. But I knew this much. The life I had now was mine, not because he had given it to me, but because, in the end, he had failed to take it away. And that, I realized as I stepped into the sun, would have to be enough. For now.